Here we are with another problem, another set of polynomials, and in this case we're subtracting one polynomial from the other. So we have to be careful about this subtraction sign. Let's just look at this second half of our expression. So notice I'm not covering up that negative part. I am going to get to that, and that's a part of what we're going to look at. So that negative means take the opposite of. So before we take the opposite of, let's just look at what's inside the parentheses. So I have 3x squared. 1, 2, 3. There's 3x squared. And it's positive, so I put it over on the positive side. Then I have negative 4x. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have negative 4x. Notice I put all my x's in the negative side. And then I have plus 3. So with manipulatives, that's what that would look like. So now I need to take the opposite of. So let's pay close attention to what happens here with our signs. So I'm going to take these 3, which were in the positive, and I'm going to take the opposite of, which means they're going to go to the negatives. I'm going to take these that were in the positive, and I'm going to move them to the negative. I'm going to take these that were in the negative and move them to the positive. Okay, so what does that give us? Well, that gives us negative 3x squared minus 3 plus 4x. Okay, let's rewrite that in 3, 2, 1 order. So that would be negative 3x squared plus 4x minus 3. Okay, let's compare what happens. Let's look at this, what we did up here, to what happened. My positive became a negative. My negative became a positive. And my positive became a negative. So they switched. Okay, all my signs switched. Notice also the way I wrote it, I no longer have the parentheses. I essentially distributed a negative 1 through the entire polynomial. Well, let's look at the whole problem now. Okay, so we did this half of the problem, which is what you need to do first, even though it's in the second part of the equation, expression. Now I need to look at x squared plus 1. So we're going to look at x squared plus 1. How many x squares do I have? I only have one of them. And then I have a 1. Okay. So remember what I did first was I took care of the negatives, took the opposite of. Which means now, once I take the opposite of, it means I'm going to be adding. So essentially what I did was, I have x squared plus 1 plus negative 3x squared plus 4x plus 3. These two problems are the same problem. Okay. So my mat is showing the same problem as well. So now we're going to add like terms. Okay, so interesting thing is going on here that didn't happen in the other example. Notice I have these units. I have 3 of them on the negative side and 1 of them on the positive side. Well, if I have a negative and a positive, they cancel each other out, right? So if I have a 1 minus 1, which is essentially what this is a 1, and this happens to be positive, and this is a minus 1, that's a 0, isn't it? So what is a 0? A 0 is nothing. I take them off the mat. That has zeroed out. Do we have any more of those going on? Well, I think we do. Let's look up here. I have negative 3 x's, x squareds, and I have a positive x squared. Do I have any zeroing going out? Oh, I sure do. Look at right here. I have a negative, and in this case, it's x squared, and a positive x squared. So they zero out. Do I have any more things that I can zero out? No, I don't. That's it. So that's my answer. So my answer is negative 2x squared minus 2, because that's negative, plus 4x. Now I have to put them in 3, 2, 1 order. So that's going to be negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 2. And that's my answer. Okay, so now let's do this without manipulatives. Same problem. I need a clean sheet of paper. Okay, so what was the first thing I did? The first thing I did was I multiplied everything through by that negative. So this was x squared plus 1. Now when I multiply everything through by the negative, that changes all of the signs. So that's negative 3x squared plus 4x minus 3. I really don't need to have these parentheses here. They're just there to show me that that was one set of something, one polynomial, specifically a binomial. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. I can look sideways like this, but sometimes that gets confusing. So what I like to do is I just like to put the longer polynomial on the top, and then I'm going to add my shorter polynomial on the bottom. Notice how I left a space there. Notice how I aligned my like terms, x squared and x squared, same term. X is different. Remember, this is an x squared and this is an x. You can't combine the two. They're totally different. So now I have negative 3x squared. Oh, what's that coefficient there in front of that x squared? It's one of those things that we understand it to be there. The coefficient is a 1. So now I have negative 3x squared and 1x squared. That gives me negative 2x squared. Nothing's joining with our 4x. And negative 3 and 1 is negative 2. So that's our answer. that was the same answer that we had on our other piece of paper with the manipulatives.